Hello, Boris Pravisham here. Welcome back to the Nidd Whitelist server. I was going to build a conference room today, but I don't really have ideas on it, so I might just move the cargo containers over. The reason why I sunk them in like that is so you could just walk up to them and have them there. But it does mean that in order to seal it, I'd have to probably cover that in... Well, catwalks aren't the best for performance. This is already it's a massive build, really. These half blocks, we've got these half block mods in here. I think they'd make for good, like, covering up for the ceiling. I use them over here, actually. See, these blocks are not half blocks there. The slab thing, thin armor blocks, and they're the half ones. So it's sort of thin, so it gives the roof a little bit more height, at least in appearance. So I guess I should start with this little area here, like down below, have the little hallway area, which requires steel plates. Alright, and what I wanted to talk about, I guess, I wonder if I should leave a window in there, is the Nidd in general. I'll add a window at the end if I think it's right. So there are a bunch of new people to the Nidd, so I thought this is something that I should probably do up some sort of a welcome thing for, so that when new people join they can see like a quick the only word that's coming to my mind is tutorial, but that's not right, like a quick rundown on the group, what happens and that kind of thing. I probably should do that somewhere. Maybe a video, but I'd have to get someone who's better at that than me at doing those things, because mine would just be me talking for about 35 minutes about the entire history of probably the universe, and then spend 5 minutes at the end talking about the Nidd, all over a scrolled drawing in paint. That's probably what I would make. So I might try and get someone a bit better at those kind of things. How did I do this down below? Oh, there we go. So I've got that block there along with a half block there. So I'll do that again and see how that looks, except that's only too wide. What have I got behind it that stops that? It's just a wall. Why do I have that too deep? Well, I don't really... I don't know why I've got that wall double armor blocked. I might leave this one 3, which then makes me wonder how to do the roof. And how... So it's 1, 2, and then the other one. Oh. So let's get these in the inventory. The Nidd is some... Let's go right back to... I don't know if we've got the time, but anyway, I've always been interested in groups of people with similar similar hobbies and likes and all that kind of thing. There's a word for it that I can't, that's not coming to me. Oh, if we run out of steel plates, that's not ideal. Where are we? Let's just build a bunch of these and that'll do. Yeah, I've always been part of groups and that, because I'm not a particularly sociable person, and I tend to only get on is not the right word, but I tend to only enjoy being with people for short periods of time, and that tend to have similar interests. That's the word I was looking for. Similar interests to me, because otherwise I become boring to them. So I've always looked for groups that have particular interests, or that are a bit wider in scope, and just generally have nice people. I'm talking about that both online and offline. Probably don't need this. I'll leave that out because I don't need it, and if I don't need it, then I'll forget that it's there and to remove it later. Yeah, so I looked around when I started YouTubing again. I kind of realized that YouTubing is a nice hobby, but it's not really all that I wanted. And I wanted to be part of a gaming group that focused more on doing fun, silly things. And I looked that it was kind of more focused around creating things for each other and doing things that, and I've used this phrase before, but doing things that would otherwise be impossible alone. That's kind of what I wanted. And when I started this channel, after probably about 6 months off, like outside of not gaming, out of YouTubing for a while, I kind of quit for about 6 months and then came back with this channel. And when I decided I wanted to do more than just YouTubing, because I wasn't interested, and you can probably see that, I'm not particularly professional. I don't seek views or subscriptions. I don't do any of that kind of thing. I'm just doing this because I like it. It's fun. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a light, not an assembler. I'm using the normal, like the old door, because I think it looks a bit better on interiors, but it is still as annoying as ever. I'm not sure if this is where I'm going to leave the doors, but we'll find out. So yeah, I came back into YouTubing. I was doing it for fun. The reason why I quit the first time round is that I was taking it too seriously, trying to turn it into a job, and it stopped being fun. So I wanted to, I guess, become a part of. I was never looking to start something originally. I was looking to become a part of an established group and just play games that I liked with other people. That was all that I was looking for. Not for recording, just to have some fun with some people, and hopefully to find guinea pigs to try my ideas out on, and to be a guinea pig for other people who also had ideas. Except I looked and I looked. By the way, I'm just, speaking of looking, I'm just kind of looking at this in my head. I think I might have to do the whole, you know what? I could do, let's go get some interior plates. Actually, how am I going to plug? So under here is a refinery. Not there. Not there. There. So I'll remove these and just check. I'm out of space. See, that's not going to be pressurized, is it? I'll get back to the story in a minute. So let's see, this isn't... So that's yellow, which means that's not covered. So that does need to be covered, which is a bit of a problem because I'd like to put a cargo container on top of it. I was looking to become part of a group that does those kind of things, and I looked and looked for it, and I just couldn't find it. So I kind of gave up, and I started to assemble like a small group of people who kind of, like at that time I didn't have necessarily the like biggest of, I don't know what the right word is, but that many people around. I don't need to go outside to find a cargo container anymore. They're just around the corner. I didn't have the largest amount of people around. I think that's the best way to put it. So I had, I think, 12 people that were originally in the Nidd. It was a closed group, and I just kind of experimented with some things, experimented with the idea of running a group, like starting something from scratch, because I've always thought that it's best to start with something that someone else has, put some effort in, so there's a starting block, because the majority of things like this are always going to fail. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of luck to get, even 10 people to join you on something like this, and we have been quite lucky to get more than 10 people. Well, the original 12 that joined because, I happened to talk about it a little bit. Let's just put down some armor blocks. And yeah, after a couple of months where I kind of had some ideas, I started the Whitelist server. This server, originally for the entirety, well, at that stage, roughly kind of the Nidd, which was, those 12 people. but it turned into a Nidd tuber thing. And this is a story for another time. I'll talk about what the Nidd tubers are. Like, I've mentioned it before, but I'll kind of go over it again for new people. I feel like occasionally repeating things is not necessarily a bad thing. How am I going to fit? I probably don't need 4 cargo containers, so we'll go with 1 there and then see if we can fit 2 in there, which means I need some interior plates. The Whitelist server was originally for a whole bunch more people. It was an application thing, and I was slowly going to... And that was kind of the Nidd to start with. I always had this plan to expand it out, but never thought it was really going to work out. I was pessimistic about it, so I would like to put that in the corner, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. At least not without going up. I think that... Well, that then just shifts the problem up to the next floor. So we'll place it there, spin in the road of the window. We'll bring it forward 1, although that means it will be out of... How is my oxygen so low so quickly? That means I will have to kind of get the... We'll bring it forward 1. But yeah, it's since turned into... If I bring that forward 1, then I can't fit 1 in there. How's this going to work? I could fit 1 in. And kind of in the road of the door a bit. And I'd have to get the conveyor system across. This may not have been my best idea. We could go up, we could put it into the floor, we could connect the industrial and the... Let's see how that would work out. Oh, I've got stuff in the road, and I just ground down the refinery. So if I did that and put the cargo container in the corner, then it would find a place there. So if I seal this, then this one and the one below it would be sealed together. So it's better than nothing. I might think of something as well. The Whitelist server then kind of transferred to the Nidd tubers when it became more about creating a YouTube series. This is more of a set, a studio, a place to record things, than it is to play Space Engineers, which is why this is Nidd tubers and guests. It's not really the Nidd Whitelist anymore. It's the Nidd tubers Space Engineers server. It's just the name has stuck around because that's what happens with names. It's too late to change. But yeah, it kind of grew out of that. And I've always pictured the Nidd, the reason why I had it, I guess. What am I doing? I'm flying back and forth. So the picture in my head has always been just a place for people to find other people. Hopefully someone will have the same interests. Hopefully, like, I'll try and encourage creativity. I've got to go up, don't I? Try and encourage creativity, testing things out, doing things that other people don't do. You know, those ideas, when you're playing with friends and you come up with an idea, wouldn't it be great if, we played a 2-week-long thing in Space Engineers where someone set missions and, played the Dungeon Master roles. Things like that. Just ideas that you have, but then no one ever comes back to. It's just an idea. And a place where that kind of thing doesn't happen, where you do come back to it and you do get to do it. See, I think this will work. Then we can put a tube between those two. In fact, I'll do that now. No, we don't need any more of them, so we'll replace it. So that is what it is, and what I picture in my head and what it is could be different, and the test is more how it actually is than what I'd like it to be, because I'm a de facto leader of the group. I'm not the leader. I'm just another person in it. I've always kind of pictured it as not particularly needing strict leadership. The reason why we have the admin system that we have now is because we're human, and that's apparently what we need to function. We need the rules and the little bit of a hierarchy in order to get things done, to give people roles. Because if you just leave it up to people to work it out for themselves, then nothing gets done. I guess you could, like, there's no one's fault. That's just what happens. So there are roles now. There are admins and moderators and that kind of thing. It differs from server to server. But I always try and... I don't need those steel plates. I always try and remind people that admins don't have... They're not these superpower, like all-powerful people that hold a huge amount of sway over things. They're just trusted people who I think would be decent at running something in that particular way, I guess, and whose opinions I value, so that when I have an idea, or any of them have an idea, they feel safe just blurting it out, and we see where it goes. And also just to keep an eye on everything. If we see something that's a bit untoward, I bring it up in the admin Skype chat, and we talk about what the best way to deal with it is. So that way it's not just one person who perhaps has like an emotional investment or something like that. Say there's something bad has happened on the server and someone maybe needs to be banned or something like that. You don't want someone who was involved in it to be making that decision. So you bring that decision in front of the group of the admins, the trusted people whose opinions, they kind of get the Nidd, they get what's going on, and that's what we use it for. So basically no one person has all of the control, and there's always a bit of accountability. There's varying of opinions. Like, I've intentionally selected people that don't always agree with me, so that way, I have people telling me to shut up when I come up with a bad idea. But the admins are they're just members, just as I am. And it's not an overly official group. It's not formal. It's not like they're it's not about running servers. It's just about providing a good place in which to meet other people and play games. We provide servers for that reason, so that people get to meet each other. We put on events for that reason. Well, not just for that reason, but that's what I mostly put on events for, so that people can meet each other. I'm looking now at another server, the Nidd server, which is not advertised. It's a Space Engineer server that you can join if you wanted to join that. Talk to Bulls or Woz or Tinian or Drills or Wizard. If you don't know who they are, try and find out. It's not an advertised, not an official kind of server. It's just a thing that's going on. I won't talk about that, but that group of people, most of them met for the first time in the Space Engineers event that just happened, and they are now all playing Space Engineers together. And that's exactly the point, is that through this event, they met some people. I got to have some fun putting together something for them. Maybe they had some fun. I'm hoping they did as well. I learnt some stuff so that I can make my creative things a bit better. And this is what I hope that the group is about. That we, that if someone comes up with an idea, they're willing to put the time and effort in to allow other people to try it out. Like whether it be through an event, or maybe you're just looking for someone, you play a particular game, you're just looking for someone to join you. That's really all it's about. So essentially what I'm saying is, don't take it too seriously. We try our best to run it and make sure that the administering of it is kept a bit more formal and a bit, a little bit more, take it a bit more seriously now than I used to. But I don't want it to turn into, firstly, a YouTube fan club. That's not at all what it is. I keep my YouTubing and the Nidd separate. They intertwine a lot, like right now. But these videos, they're just me talking about things that I'm interested in, and I'm interested in the Nidd. But yeah, it's more about just finding people that you like, playing games with them. Like, I'll give you one example. 2 people that joined fairly on because of the Land of Nidd, which was the old public Space Engineer server that we ran. They met on there. They, never heard of each other, never saw each other before that. Complete strangers, but they became good friends. And one of them is no longer in the Nidd. He was only here for that particular Space Engineer server, which is fine. It's not running anymore, so he's got no reason to be here as far as he's concerned. Not that, that's fine. And the other guy, he's kind of just faded away. I think he's still in the Steam group, but he's not really an active member. But what I like, what the kind of good news story that has come out of it is that through that server they've met, and they're both still on my friends list, and I see them playing games together most days. So from that server, 2 people that otherwise would never have met, but are obviously good friends and like the same kind of games, are now still playing games, despite the fact they're not in the group. And that matters more to me than them being active members in the group. That I like that. That's what the group's about, and without getting unnecessarily emotional, that I get a bit of pride out of that. I like that has happened, and I like that, like on Niddsville, I see people in the Steam group history, because Steam groups kind of log a whole bunch of history. I see people inviting others in order to just come on Niddsville, and then when they're in Niddsville, they might go, I wonder a bit about the group. Why are there people making, these other in-jokes and stuff like that? And so they investigate a little bit more, and then maybe they'll meet more people. Maybe they've got some ideas for things to put on for other people. Like when I put on, I've got to tear all this down. This is not what I meant to do. When I put on events, it's not it's just me doing something for friends, because I like making maps and stuff like that. So, it's maybe some people like to try them out. So, yeah, it's just me putting on something fun for some friends, or at least hopefully fun. And that's all an event is. And Malkin's is the same. He's got heaps of ideas like that. Things like what would happen if we put 2 teams on the planet and then told them it's a race to get to the planet, drill some stuff on the moon, and get back safely. Would that be fun? Would those people enjoy it? And so we did it. It's called Malkin's Space Race. You can watch it on Anubis' channel. That wasn't a recording thing, but Anubis recorded it. I did as well, but I did not have the willpower to edit that down. In fact, I didn't have the disk space to keep it at that time, so I had to get rid of that. It was 7 hours. That was one thing that we learned from it, was that to do that we had to provide more time. It was not the 2 or 3 hour event we thought it was. So it's always, experimenting, coming up with things, but that was Malcolm's just, he had an idea, so he put it on for his friends. I just wanted to give people a bit of perspective about what the group was. It's not some official declaration, but, we're just here for fun, to find some friends, to do things that otherwise would not be possible alone. All those little ideas that you have that never get done. Hopefully we can find the sort of weird people, the nerdy people that hear those ideas and think, let's do that. So yeah, that's... I'm kind of happy at the moment. I'm happy that... Oh, I've done this wrong. I'm not happy that I've done this. But yeah, I'm happy with the general state of things. The group is in the healthiest position that it has ever been right now. Like, I'm seeing groups of friends form. Some people might see that as a bad thing, like there being splits or, factions within the group. But, there's no way that you could possibly have... There's probably, I think, at like a rough count, there's probably about 120 people that I know are relatively active within the group. So there's no way that you can get 120 people. Just imagine 120 people in the room and then tell them to all be friends and to all like each other a huge amount. It's not, you're going to have groups of friends forming, that kind of thing, and I like that. So we're now at the stage where that's kind of happening, and yeah, basically things are all right, and thank you for being around. This has gone on long enough, so I'm going to have to call an end to this. In the next few episodes, I'm just going to keep building and talking. That's what I'm going to do for a little while. Maybe do some co-op things. I'm going to continue doing group stuff. I'm hoping to do some sort of a rundown discussion on the event that happened, because we learnt a lot of stuff, a lot of really useful stuff that's going to help not only me but everyone with Space Engineers and the Nidd, because I think we're getting to the point where we really need to be doing a bit more in order to keep everyone satisfied. Because, like, I'm going off on a tangent here that I really shouldn't, but it's too late. We've started. This is going to fit. I'll just put straight blocks here and work that out later. Yeah, so when the event was finishing, and I'm sorry for eavesdropping and then putting it on a video, but so it was Drills, Bulls, who else was there? There was Tinian, Nim, Smokey, that's who I've forgotten. Sorry, Smokey. They were all there, and when the event was wrapping up and it was time to say goodbye to the world after 2 weeks, Drills raised the point we should all get together and play more Space Engineers. And that's when I kind of realized part of what we do is we band together to pay for a server, and we have people who are willing to set aside a chunk of their life to manage these servers for others, and yet we don't really have, like, Nidsol is running, but it's not properly managed, not maintained at all, and I would hate for them to get together on this server and then for it to all disappear because it's not being managed properly. So I think it's about time that we do something with Space Engineers to make sure that, firstly, people stick around, and just simply to do what the group is supposed to do. Provide a place for people to be. I'm thinking I might make this roof a half block instead. I'm not going to tear it all down for a third time on camera. That's not going to fit either. I'll work that out later. By the way, I should also point out that it's not about being on any official server. Like, if that group that we're talking about finding a place in Space Engineers to go, if they decide they want to play a local game together or go onto a completely different server, I don't care. That's the point. They've got some people that they like together, and now it's just about finding a place to play. And if there's enough people, there's enough reason to have something, then I think that's something that we as a group would then invest time in creating so that others can... I do detect that kind of tribalism from time to time, where you have to be in the right place and playing the right thing, and that if we don't have an official server, then you're not doing the right thing by stealing people away and taking them to another server. Because, we have had people, I don't know how much I should say about this kind of thing, but there have been times when people from other groups have come in and tried to recruit Niddites and take them away. In fact, there have been 2 different people at separate occasions who have tried to essentially acquire the Nidd, like have asked me to hand over the group to them, or to integrate with them, or to do, like, merge them together so that they would have a higher number of players. And I've always said no to that kind of thing, of course. But there is none of that tribalism, at least from me. It's just about finding people to play with. That was a bit of a cryptic. By the way, there were a whole bunch of questions in there that I just answered. The whole question and answer thing that I was doing. Yeah, there was a list of questions that I've kind of just ticked off on there. Try and pick them. Anyway, I'm sorry. This has gone for probably close to an hour now, so whoops. But bye.